You are listening to Mining Stock Education, where you'll learn from the top leaders in the natural resource sector and uncover quality mining investment opportunities.
Thanks for tuning in to Mining Stock Education. I'm Bill Powers, your host, and joining me today is Greg Crowe. He's the president and CEO of Silver One Resources. Website for the company is silverone.com. We spoke with Greg about a month ago, last month in June, but the company had a quite meaty press release on its main project, the Candelaria project in Nevada. This is a past producer, and I asked Greg to come on with the charts via shared screen to kind of talk through the press release for us non-technical people so we could get a grasp of what's going on geologically here and what the plans for advancement are. So with that, Greg, thanks for coming on the show, and please explain to us these latest drill results.
Yeah, Bill, thanks a lot for having me again, because as you mentioned, it is a bit of a meaty press release, but lots of information. And I think we can distill it down to maybe 3 or 4 main points sort of thing. And what I've done is I've put these slides up on the screen just to give us an idea and help us try and understand. So essentially, if we look at this slide here, it shows the overall outline of the entire Candelaria project. And just to reiterate, we've got 2 big heap leach pads with about combined 45 million ounces of silver in both of them. And we want to look at essentially bringing those back into production in the not too distant future, aiming for an economic study by the end of the year on that. And plus, we've got these 2 big open pits that were the focus of the past production, Kinross being the last big producing group in here. Back in the 1990s, they shut down with low silver prices, but we essentially designed a program that was constituted about 15,000 meters of diamond drilling and reverse circulation drilling, and we wanted to look at 3 main aspects. First, northeast of the Mount Diablo Northern Bell Pit is an interesting high-grade zone that deepens as you go north. This was never really part of any past resource calculations that were completed, but we're finding lots of high-grade mineralization, and I'll show you that on the next slide. And the idea is, for future extraction consideration, is there a high-grade zone there that could really enhance production at Candelaria? The second thing we did was we looked at long strike continuations, particularly from the Mount Diablo pit, of easily accessible near surface open pit mineralization that we could mix with the leach pads to increase grades and recoveries. And again, this is all part of a potential economic study coming out towards the end of the year. And the third thing that we looked at with our drill program is, what is the source of all of the mineralization that we're seeing not only here, but way off to the east of the property. Groups like Hochschild were drilling there, producing gold, silver mine, etc. What is the source? We were finding some interesting mineralization just outside the old Georgine pit that had a lot of copper, gold, and silver in it. And we put a deep drill hole in just north of there, and we intercepted what is referred to as a porphyry style alteration system at depth under Candelaria. So I'm going to show you where those are, and then we'll piece it all together. So here are the 2 big open pits. The heaps are just off to the north of this map. We did a lot of drilling. This area in through here, it deepens as you head to the northeast, but we're getting multiple hits in the thousands of grams per ton silver, with anywhere between a gram and a gram and a half gold. This could be the focus for future extraction, possibly accessible by ramping down from the base of the pit and enhancing long-term production. The second thing we did was we looked at extensions to the near-surface open pit mineralization. We extended the Diablo mineralization for up to 500 meters to the east, to the west, 100 meters to the east, and it remains open along strike. The idea is, if we've got easily accessible near-term opportunities here, we could mix this material with the heap leach material to increase grades end recoveries and enhance the overall economics for our economic study, which we anticipate to complete towards the end of this year. So those were two big achievements that we had in this big drill program that we just completed. Then we looked at essentially where is the source of all this mineralization. This is a nice visual map. It shows that to the north of the pits in the reds and purples is a very strong magnetic high against this strong magnetic low in blues, greens, yellows, and oranges. Big major structure coming in through here. But what's the source of all this near surface mineralization? We put a deep drill hole down here and in through here. This one didn't go deep enough. This one got into essentially what is referred to as a zone of alteration. And that zone of alteration is very characteristic of what's referred to as a big porphyry copper or porphyry gold style system. We didn't really get much copper here, but we have copper on the surface in through here, and over and through here. But we did hit this alteration system, and where the alteration gets more intense towards the end of the hole, we're getting values up to almost 6 grams per ton gold over narrow widths. So we believe we're on the margin of a big system at depth, underlying all of this rich silver oxide mineralization that's near the surface. So this creates a new great opportunity at Candelaria that was never recognized in the past. So that'll be part of the future exploration. And if you want to look at what some of that alteration looks like, this is just a really altered what's called a porphyry intrusive, and we're looking at abundant chalcopyrite coming in through here, which is a copper bearing mineral. This was found on surface on some of the old adit dumps. Here's that alteration, what's called a secondary biotite, tourmaline, very classic alteration assemblages associated with these porphyry deposits, and these are the types of rocks that we're getting those big gold values in. So what do we want to do going forward at Candelaria? We just completed this 15,000 meter drill program, which was very successful, and the goals that we want to achieve is we're going to do some metallurgical testing on that pit extension material to enhance our economic study and see whether we can mix that material with the heaps, that economic study coming out towards the end of the year. Then we want to look at this potential high-grade underground resource for future extraction considerations, because some of those are very high grade in the thousands of grams per ton silver, similar to what the average grade was in the early days of mining at Candelaria. And then we want to do additional testing for this underground porphyry-related system. And in essence, we're probably going to be doing another drill program coming up in the fall. So Candelaria advancing, it's much more interesting and much more opportunity at Candelaria than we had ever considered when we first acquired the project from Silver Standard back in 2017.
Greg, when you were looking at the holes, did you get any information to help advance your metallurgical work that you're doing for the heaps?
Well, essentially for the heaps, yes, because the metallurgical information that we're doing is we're doing more met work on the drill chips that came out of the extension to the pit mineralization. And we will be combining that with heap leach material to see whether we can increase the grades and recoveries from what we had in the original metallurgical work we did. And if that looks positive, then we'll be putting out that economic study towards the end of the year on mixing this material, and we'll see what the economics come out with.
And then with the planned drill program at Candelaria for this year, permitting is not going to be an issue. That's pretty seamless for you at this project, right?
At this project, the permitting is pretty good. We've had good discussions with both the BLM and the Nevada Department of Environmental Protection, and they've said this is a disturbed site that's never been fully reclaimed. And they've been very, very good and responsive at giving us the required drill permits, and we just completed that 15,000. We did another 5,000 meter drill program earlier in 2020. We've had no problem. So we just have to, resubmit a new application we're just compiling all of that drill information that we have, and we'll be selecting new targets. We'll submit that to the authorities for a new permit, but we've never had a problem getting in here.
And
you visited the site,
exactly,
you know what it's like.
No, when you're talking, I'm thinking about the wellhead I remember seeing that can really pump out the water. So you pretty much have everything you need there to run a program. It's one of the easiest, right off a paved road.
Here's the main highway that joins Reno to Las Vegas, 2 miles of paved road. We've got 2 water wells, each capable of 500 to 700 gallons per minute. And we have a power line that comes right to the old processing site. It's connected. We pay our monthly power bills. So come and plug in your cell phone.
Well, Greg, thank you for this update. And we'll be touching base again when you announce that drill program. We'll bring you on the show again so you can tell us what you're going to be testing.
Sure, Bill. Thank you very much. You take care then.